So I'm here today and I'm getting on with the black open road hat that I'm doing for a customer of mine. And this hat is made of the Fepsa felt, and I'm just reading it out here, it's a 240 gram weight. Now that's a real heavyweight Western felt. It's been pounced, and it's 20% beaver and 80% rabbit, so a very, very nice soft fur felt. So what I've been doing is with my mask on, having shaped the hat over the block and pressed out the brim, I've been going around it with first the coarse sandpaper and secondly the fine sandpaper to get a really nice finish to the hat. I've still got a bit more to do, but I've probably spent half an hour on it so far, and probably another 15 minutes or so will be needed just to make it really, really special. So once I've done that, then I will cut the brim and I'll show you what it looks like after that. So there we are, I've been around the brim with the cutter and cut off the excess felt, and we have I've taken out the block from underneath as well. So now we've got a raw edge, which what we do is we take the sandpaper that we did the pouncing with and we just go around the edge, just smooth it nicely. But can you see the thickness of that felt? That's really quite a thick felt. So what we're going to do is have a bit of a tough time putting the 15mm gross grain on there, but I'm sure that'll be fine. But I'm going to come off camera and continue doing this now and show you the next stage of doing the sweatband. So now we've got the sweatband to do. So there's a reed in this sweatband, which is a plastic infill that actually I have to take out first of all, because this is what gives the hat a little bit of rigidity, I guess, around the actual brim of the hat, the crown, the bottom of the crown. So desperately, there we are. You can see it just coming out now. It's a bit like a fishing wire. So that comes out, and then now what I've got to do now is first of all offer up to the hat so that I can see where my logo is going to be, like 2/3 of the way, well actually 3/4 of the way around the hat. So I'm going to go into about there and I'm going to cut it about there. Okay, so using my trusty scissors, I cut straight off and then just tidy up the end bit here. I try and get it square. There we go. Oops. Bit more. There we go. So there's one square end. Now what I've got to do is get my tape measure out, and in this case measure 57 and a little bit to take up the slack, and that will then allow me to make up the band to go inside the hat. So what I've got, this is going to be a black on black on black hat, if you get what I'm meaning. Everything's going to be black. So we've got a nice black bow here, which is these little tiny bows that we put in at the back of the hat. That's a traditional thing more than anything else. We've also got the little furrows, which these are used to go on the end of the band. Where are my? Oh, there they are. So let's measure this out. And what I do is I normally measure it to get it near to the size, and then I do a final accurate measurement. Really, just because it's, you know, measure twice, cut once, that sort of theory, where you don't waste your material then. So now I'm just cutting it down to about 60. So that's not done yet, but it's got rid of the bulk. So there's the bulk of what we've got rid of, and let's measure it again. So this is going to get a little bit tricky, so I'm just going to do this now and I'll come back on and show you once I've actually taken the band upstairs, sewn it all up, put the little bow in the back, and it's ready to go inside the hat. So there we are. We have 1, sweatband, and it's all nicely stitched up with the bow in there, all ready to go inside the hat. And I think what I'll do next is I will place it inside the hat, pin it with pins, and then take it to the sewing machine, and in the industrial sewing machine, and actually sew it into the hat. So that's upstairs, so I will do that and come back and show you once it's done. So now I've been upstairs and I've put the binding around the brim. I've actually put the crease in the crown, and that's come along very nice, the Cattleman Crease. And then I've formed the actual brim on the brim block, of which this is the said brim block. And now it's time to use the grosgrain to actually make the ribbon that goes around the hat itself. All the way through I do check the size of the hat and make sure that it's staying within the parameters of my my client's needs. And this one is a UK 7, which is a 7 1/8 in America, and this is a UK 7, and there we are, it's a UK 7, if you can see that. So yeah, all good in the hood, they say. So I will go off and use my grosgrain to produce the ribbon that will go around the crown of the hat, and I'll show you when I've done that before it goes onto the hat. So here we are. I've taken this and turned it into this. So this is now the bow, and I've got the dangly bits which they get cut once the actual grosgrain is attached to the hat. As you can see, I do a double bow, which is a bit unusual, and not very unusual, but and then I do one that's longer than the other, and then this will sit round the crown of the hat, which is quite difficult to see on this one because it's a beautiful black on black. And I have to say this is a 20% beaver, 80% rabbit. Oh my goodness, it's just absolutely stunning. I've pounced it for just under an hour, and I'll tell you, if it was my size, I wouldn't be selling it. You know, it's an absolute beauty. As you can probably see, that's just going to sit in there quite nicely. So what I do now is I take my dress pins and actually pin this to the hat and get the spacing right, and then I stitch it to the hat. So once I've done that, I'll show you where we've got to, and then we'll get on with the lining. So I've now got to the point where I've actually stitched in the grosgrain into the crown of the hat, and what we need to do next is, because there's very, very small gaps in some of the places around the grosgrain, what we do is we steam it, and then it contracts in and has a really nice fit to the crown. So I'm just waiting for the steam to heat up. I will do that, and then I will cut these little bits here, and I'll show you when I've done it. So there we are. I've done the steaming around the crown to bring in the grosgrain, and that's all nicely fitted and sewn in and everything now, and I've cut the edges. So really starting to look like a really nice hat. So now we've got the lining. Now the lining I make by hand on the machine, and I've cut the material. I've put a backing material in there to give it some substance so that it doesn't just collapse inside the hat. And we've got a lovely blue paisley that the gentleman's actually requested for this hat, and of course our logo inside. So I'll pop that in, and then I'll come back on camera and show you how it looks. So there we are. We've now got the lining inside of the hat, which I think you'll agree looks very nice. It's just difficult from the different angles to, and the fact that it's black, it's difficult to photograph. It's got a lovely, lovely pile on this beaver rabbit felt. It's really, really quite nice. And just so that you can see again, it's the size wise, I'm just going in there, and it's a 7. So there we are. That's a 7 1/8 in America. So there we have it. One very nice Cattleman Crease hat in black, beaver and rabbit felt. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like what I'm doing and you'd like to find out more about how I can create something for you, then reach out, either message me through YouTube or take a look at my website and send me an email.